The online dating game is supposed to be fun, but let's be real. How much fun can you have if you're rarely experiencing success? And most of your experiences, if not all of them, are basically failing. You're not going to have so much fun, and you should be if you're playing the online dating game. While the experience of playing the online dating game includes a lot of failure, when you achieve those successes, they're supposed to offset and make up for all those failures, the challenges, and all the tough times that you went through to achieve that success. It's supposed to be worth it. But if you're feeling like it's not worth it and you're just failing so much that you're having a negative experience, I want to share with you reasons why you might be failing at online dating. And the last one is a doozy, so make sure that you stay tuned. Misalignment. This is one of the major reasons for failing at the online dating game because you see, we're misaligned. We go into this online dating game and we all have certain desired relationship outcomes that we want as, well, the output of the experience. But the input that we're putting into the game, well, it's misaligned with that desired outcome. For example, we have to have certain inputs such as pictures, written content, our communication, our online dating values, even our effort and commitment to the game. If those are misaligned with our desired relationship outcomes, it's kind of tough to expect and achieve success. Insufficient effort and commitment. This is maybe the most common mistake made in the online dating game that causes failure. And it's one that we're all pretty much guilty of, including myself a time or two. So here's the thing, we've all maybe fallen victim to say the 5-minute profile. The moment that you did finally decide to play the online dating game, most of us, what do? Well, we log into an app or a platform, and 5 minutes later, we've got a profile, we got pictures, and we got a bio, and now we can go and send messages, and then we have a rough time of it because we're like, wow, this was supposed to be more fun, a lot more connections than but they're not here. Why? Because you spent 5 minutes creating your profile. Essentially, you're creating your online dating resume, and it took you 5 minutes. Here we are talking about outcomes like sex, dates, relationships, maybe a life partner, and you spend 5 minutes on it? What do you expect? Would you spend 5 minutes on your professional resume and expect that you should turn it in and that you would get the job? It's very unlikely, right? So low effort there. And we can do better, but that's an example of what we're doing and expecting success. And sometimes we do things like send messages like, hi, hey, how are you? Good morning, good night. Now, it's a message, but is there much behind it? No, very low effort, all right? And we do things that aren't really going to help us, like we're inconsistent. So our commitment to participating in the online dating game, if it's not high enough, you will be punished. So you can't just log on once a week and expect to be successful. You have to be consistently participating in the online dating game, nurturing those connections and making new ones and following up on those connections and communications. You have to be consistent. And oftentimes we just kind of get into this mode where we think, I'm sure I'm here. I showed up. Shouldn't that be enough? No, the online dating game isn't like that. You do have to invest enough effort and commitment into it to succeed. Low awareness for the rules and better strategies of the online dating game. This isn't necessarily your fault because this is a game that you weren't brought up to understand how to play. So you weren't brought up and raised to know the rules of this game or the better strategies. This game has just kind of taken off and now it's a part of our world. It's part of our attraction and dating world. And now we're just having to navigate through it, but there are rules and better strategies. And if you don't know those rules and better strategies, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. They do, and they always have. But what we need to do is make sure that you understand them better. Because the better that you understand the rules, the more that you can abide by them, the more that you can eventually bend and even break them. And when you know the better strategies, well, you have more options for handling situations and you're more likely to stack the odds in favor of success. Measuring success incorrectly. This is a huge issue for the online dating game because so many people think that success with online dating is a date. It's in the name, so it would make sense, but that's not actually success. And it's not getting a relationship or having sex with someone. Those are huge outcomes, but that's not actually success from online dating. Success from online dating is experiencing a first meet from someone that you connected with online, and you developed that connection enough that the both of you were so interested that you got to the point where you met them in person. And then once you're in person, it's a new ball game. You're no longer going to play the online dating game anymore once you're in person in front of that person. Now you're playing the attraction game. And if you play the attraction game well, you get to the dating game. And if you play the dating game well, you get to the relationship game. But understand with online dating, yeah, it would seem very frustrating and filled with failure if your version or vision of success is getting a lot of dates, sex, or relationship. No, it's actually just qualifying for and achieving a first meet. Your first impression sucks. First impressions matter, and especially at the online dating game. And that's something that many of the participants of the online dating game they just don't understand. They think that they're going to get this great big opportunity to represent themselves and then be judged finally after someone sees all the things in their profile and maybe even communicate with them. That's not how it's going to happen. Your first impression might be as simple as just someone looking at your profile picture and thinking yay or nay. Right? So it's not guaranteed that someone's going to leaf through all your pictures or go through all your pictures and then look at your written content and read through all of it. It's not guaranteed. Your first impression, it has to be so strong because it has to make somebody want more. It has to make them want to click through the rest of your pictures or read through your written content. Your first impression has to hook them in. Otherwise, you need to understand your competition is seconds away. If that 1 second, one swipe of the finger away, that's how far your competition is. So you need to understand the importance of your first impression and make the most of it. You struggle to level up to a first meet. With online dating, we define success in this game as achieving a first meet. Well, it's hard to achieve success in this game if you don't know how to get to the first meet, if you don't know the things that are necessary, like how to identify indicators of interest so that you can know that you're on the right track, or being able to create conversation and a connection that makes it so that someone wants to either ask you to a first meet or is receptive when you ask them to first meet. And do you know how to ask them to a first meet in a way that is more likely to say yes? Look, you can know all sorts of things at the online dating game. You can be great at having pictures and written content and communicating, but if you can't finish that last step to level up from the platform to the first meet, you can't achieve success. So you need to ensure that you are very aware of the better strategies and competent in them so that you can execute your ability to get to the first meet because otherwise you're just playing most of the game without the ending and you don't want to do that. So you have to work at leveling up to the first meet to be successful. You need all the green lights. For many of us in the games of love, like attraction, dating, and online dating, we're hesitant to make a move until we get all the green lights, until we get every sign of approval that's to the point of excess where it's in the bag. Problem is, the games of love, attraction, dating, online dating, even life, they don't operate like that. You don't get all the green lights and then finally take action. You have to take action before you get all the green lights. You might be able to recognize some green lights, but you're going to have to, if you want to be successful in any game, but especially this online dating game, you're going to have to make some moves and put yourself in vulnerable positions, ask somebody out or to connect, or just, make the first move before you get all those green lights that say for sure, 100%, you're going to be met with approval. That's not how this game is going to work. You're going to have to be putting yourself in vulnerable positions, but that's how you win. You got to risk it for the biscuit. And please understand that the people who are succeeding in the online dating game, they're not waiting until they see all the green lights. Because if you do that, that plan of action is going to backfire so often where you're going to miss out on opportunities, people are going to lose interest, or people are going to think that you're not interested because you're not making a move. So definitely, you can't be the type of person if you want to win at this online dating game more, you can't wait for all the green lights. Focusing on attraction. While there's nothing wrong with attraction or being a part of the online dating experience, it shouldn't be a primary focus. Let's remind ourselves that what we're trying to do when we're playing this online dating game is get to the in person first meet. And that, for many people, I guess you think that would happen because of attraction, but that's not the case. It might play a part, but more so, you get to that first meet because of connection. So you need to invest properly because while it's not a terrible thing to be thinking that, man, this person is so attractive or I really appreciate the personality. That's great, but focus on the connection, okay? Focus on getting to know them. What makes them tick? What do they like? What ways might they be complementary to you? What do you have in common? When you find out more about somebody, you develop that connection and you're just taking things down a route that is so much easier than focusing on attraction or expecting attraction to be enough. If you focus on the connection and you invest properly, the attraction tends to take care of itself. You get to the first meets and you're more likely to get to the first date, all right? So be smart. Instead of focusing on attraction, focus on connection. It pays off so much more. You have holes in your online dating game. You could have a lot of things going for you. You could be attractive, you could be successful, you could have a great personality, but if you have holes in your online dating game, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. Imagine you're attractive, you're successful, you've got a good personality, but if you can't represent yourself well in the online dating game because you suck at selecting pictures or you don't know how to write quality written content that highlights you and draws you attention for all the right reasons, or if you don't know how to send a good opening message that people want to respond to, if you don't know how to communicate in a way that people want to return and reciprocate communication, if you don't know how to level up to get to a first meet, all these can be holes in your online dating game and they can keep you stuck as far as being able to achieve success or keep you stuck as far as limiting your success because you might be successful with some of these deficiencies and holes in your online dating game, but you're not going to be able to maximize your potential for success. So, if you want to succeed more, you need to make sure that you don't have holes in your online dating game. Underestimating the numbers game aspect. If you're playing the online dating game, it's not that different from the attraction or the dating game in that they're all numbers games. So if you're going to participate in these games, most of your participation is going to end in failure. The occasional successes that make it all worth it, but for the most part, these games are about failure. All right. Now, that doesn't make it a terrible experience though, because while you do have to face a lot of failure and more failure in the online dating game, it's not so bad because you do so in more of a cyber environment. At least you don't have to face this rejection in person and feel that pain, right? But understand, when you're participating in online dating, you're going to send out a lot of messages that never get a response. You're going to get a lot of people that you try to connect with that are going to say thanks, but no thanks. You're going to message a lot of people who never respond back to you after some communication, and you're going to wonder what happened. It's going to happen to you a lot, and it can happen for any number of reasons. It really can. You know, people leave, people meet somebody, people just stop paying attention to their platform. Anything can happen. So you have to be prepared to fail a lot. And that's why also it's not a good idea to see a profile and just fall head over heels for it because you haven't even started connecting with that person. They haven't responded to any message and maybe they don't ever. So you don't want to really focus on a profile and think that this is it. You got to play the numbers game appropriately and distribute your efforts and your investment. And also just even if you find a great connection, one doesn't mean that you should stop. Right? If you find one great connection, that's great. Do another because, you know, the more that you connect with that person and eventually meet them in person, hopefully, well, maybe things don't work out. You don't want to have to start back over and without anything already warmed up and ready to go. So when you're playing the numbers game, be prepared for a lot of failure, but also be prepared to have numbers on your side, not just that you're focusing on one person. Not paying the price. This is maybe the biggest reason why people struggle with and fail at the online dating game. They all want something from the online dating game, but want isn't enough. You have to qualify for and earn it. And one of the ways that you can do that is by developing your online dating game. Make sure you know the rules and better strategies and are able to execute them. When you make that investment, you do deserve better results. You're paying the price. You may also need to pay the price in different ways. So often I have to tell people you need better pictures or new pictures. And that's something that they've been hesitant to do. They don't want to pay the price of just snapping some new pictures or asking a friend or hiring a photographer. They won't make that payment. They won't pay that price. And that's something where it's holding a lot of people back. And we do things like that all the time in this online dating game. You have to pay the price. Maybe you need to be more comfortable asking a friend to review your profile. What do you think of these pictures? What do you think of my online dating profile? We don't do those things. You might need to seek professional help. Maybe you have pictures, but you don't know how to create your written content or strategy for communicating with others that is more successful. Well, that's something that I do. And sometimes people have to pay the price of swallowing their pride and saying, could I get a little bit of help? Sometimes that's the price that you need to pay to get what you want. Maybe it's investing in yourself and becoming a better version of yourself or getting uncomfortable, doing uncomfortable things. One of the most uncomfortable things that we have to do is message people on online dating. And what I would say is you also have to pay the price of messaging first. All right, whether you're male or female, if there's something that you really want, you probably need to message first in this game. So there are all sorts of ways that we have to pay the price or that we should pay the price if we want to win or if we expect to win more. Remember that the biggest reason why most people are struggling with and failing at the online dating game is that they're not ready or they're not willing to pay the price. It's hard to win at the online dating game when you haven't been taught the foundational lessons that impact your experiences and success, so let's change that. Click here to watch all 8 videos from our Online Dating 101 playlist, and click below to visit onlinedatingdynamics.com to take advantage of free dating and online dating resources and to learn more about our online dating game strategy guide.